Welcome back. My name's Kit.
My name's Madison.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things. Today we're covering Inception, the Christopher Nolan film. Nolan?
Nolan?
Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Nolan.
Tony loves Christopher Nolan.
Boy, howdy, I do love them Nolan films. I go down to the cinema and I watch them.
Christopher Nolan film from 2010. Popular movie, written and directed by that guy Chris. That's what we're talking about today.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. We're going to have a long, in-depth conversation. We'll start off with our overall thoughts on the film, our previous history of it, then a screen-by-screen, scene-by-scene, play-by-play of the movie.
Of Christopher Nolan's masterpiece.
Seems like a very long time.
It's going to be a long talk. I'm guessing 2 hours.
I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to do that today. Would you guys do me a favor and just, do the Inception thing on me?
Okay,
we
could do that.
Like do our review of Inception in your mind so you don't have to stay here the whole time?
Yeah.
And you get the whole review?
Because it's 2 hours and here, but if we go a level down, it could be 2 days.
Yeah.
And a dream within a dream. We could talk about this movie for weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have work. I got stuff to do.
Okay.
Okay.
If
We could do that.
that's cool with you guys.
I've actually hired a chemist. I prepared in the lab a powerful sedative
Oh.
Amazing.
that will leave our ears able to critique movies and discuss things together, but everything else we can be asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's going to be the kick?
Pippin will lick our faces.
Okay, that's a good kick.
Yeah.
But wait, I need a totem. What should my totem be?
We can't tell us. We can't touch it.
Yeah, we can't touch it.
I can tell you.
But what is it?
Oh,
Is it-
man. I'm gonna.
Is it your
flip.
ET doll?
Yeah, it'll be my ET doll.
Oh.
My totem is going to be this cherry cola because nobody else knows how much liquid is left in it but me.
But what if you
Yeah.
keep drinking it?
Oh God. I'm going to be stuck in limbo.
Stuck in limbo forever. Please make sure I don't get stuck in limbo. That would kind of suck.
I would never allow you to be stuck in limbo.
Oh, thanks.
But Brittany can fucking die. in there.
Unless extract Brittany and me from
Is Madison
limbo.
the first one to create a villain character?
I think so. I think she is.
Yeah, don't get
It's-
Madison mad
That's
because then
not
Brittany
cool,
will come
man.
out.
No,
Brittany
no.
will
It's
come
not
out.
cool at all, man.
But yeah, no, that would be very helpful.
Okay, I have the briefcase here.
Okay.
I can release the sedative. Just let me know when to press it, Steve.
Oh, press it. Do it. Let's go to Dreamland.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, who was the architect?
Oh man, it was a new guy. He did a great job. This looks exactly like the studio.
It does.
Oh, it even has. Oh my gosh, it even has the shitty little ring lights that we use.
Who's the dreamer?
Well, I thought it was Madison, but
Oh, that's right.
that's why she's not here.
Okay.
Yeah, they're somewhere outside the building. We're just hanging out in her dream.
Her projections are crazy. They look just like your knickknacks.
Don't look at them. we don't want her projections to realize it's us. They'll
Madison's
start attacking us.
subconscious will get dead ass crazy on us.
Yes, it's just all Britney's.
Mhm. It's kind of chuggy in here for a Gen Z dream.
There's a lot of live, laugh, love signs in here. It's so chuggy.
Madison. Any hoozle. Yeah. So let's
But
do
we've never
this.
done this before. We've never done an actual movie review while incepting someone's dreams.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a highly specific thing that we've never done before.
Yeah, who would have thought?
While wearing no shoes and drinking cherry cola. I've never done that before.
Yeah, Cherry Cola Zero.
Ooh, you got one too.
Yeah, I did. I did. I saw you get that one. And I thought,
That looks
Daddy
delish.
wants one too.
That looks crisp.
Yep.
Well, they're yours. They're from your refrigerator. So go ahead.
Thank you.
But if you haven't guessed by us telling you outright, we're talking about Inception. We just watched it again. Let's talk a little bit about, Steve, what's your history with Inception? How long has it been since you've seen it? And typically, what do you think about the film? And what was it like watching it this time?
So Inception, I very, very, very clearly remember I was working at the movie theater circa 2011. And even before that in 2010, we had the first poster for Inception came to our theater. And all of us film nerds and geeks that work there treated like the coming of this poster as if someone was handing us the Dead Sea Scrolls. Like, because The Dark Knight had come out. There's Batman. So Nolan was like on the top of the world, right? The Prestige on top of the world. And so when Inception comes back, which looks like the most ambitious mind-fucking movie of all time, everyone was so excited. So I remember vividly looking at that poster of, it's just Leonardo DiCaprio with his back turned, standing in the water like it was a character poster. That was the one we got first. And that one was right outside of the manager's office. So every time I would like leave the office, there's Leo looking at me, reminding me that Inception is just around the corner. But when this movie first came out, I really, really love it. I think this is a very, very good movie. I think as I've grown older, and I've talked about this a little bit, is like the older I get, the less likely, or the less I've liked Christopher Nolan's newer films. But also I don't look at his older films the exact same way. I mean, I still love them, but there's a part of me that's like, oh, this was an S tier movie. It's now an A tier movie for me. That type of thing.
Demoted a tier.
Yeah.
This is weird because it came out between Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. Dark Knight Rises is where it all started going downhill for me, at least. But so he's one of the most talented directors ever. But one of the things that I kind of hate about his modern movies, or his more contemporary movies, is that they're just like nonstop, like exposition. And this is the first movie I remember feeling like I was aware of that happening. Like it was just a bunch of exposition and then like edit straight into the next scene. And we're in the middle of another conversation. Cause it always feels like he's sprinting. This is the first movie I remember being aware that he was doing that. But also, I think it works really well for this specific movie because it has to get through a lot of shit to make anything make sense. And it's written really, really well. Now, that style I don't think works in a film like Oppenheimer as well. But this was the first time I remember, he likes to be moving. Yeah, he doesn't like things to be, he likes things to be quick, which is weird. I don't think people really associate Nolan with that adjective. Mm-hmm. But he does like to be quick and get into things in and out, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of this movie?
I don't think I've seen this movie at all since it came out. Now, I watched it a few times the year it came out, but for me, it's the first time I've ever watched this movie sober because in 2010, I was very high, undoubtedly, indubitably. And so indubitably intoxicated. And so I say that to say that like my perception of what this movie was, I honestly had a blast watching this last night. I've always enjoyed this movie. On Letterboxd, I had rated it 4 stars, like retroactively. You know, when I got really into Letterboxd and just rated a lot of the movies that I'd seen already, I gave it an 8 out of 10. But it was definitely never in consideration for like one of my favorite Nolans. Mm-hmm. My favorite Christopher Nolan film is The Prestige.
Same.
The Dark Knight would definitely be up there, and being honest. I think Batman Begins on occasion is sometimes better in my mind than even The Dark Knight. I don't think Batman Begins gets enough credit.
Batman Begins is great.
I would like to rewatch Dark Knight Rises. I really don't like Anne Hathaway's Catwoman or anything that's going on with a lot of that stuff at all.
Yeah.
Even Marion Cotillard is just pretty terrible in that movie, and she's a phenomenal actress. So it's just like everything about that movie is bad in my memory, but I'd be willing to retry it. Mm-hmm. And I want to revisit Interstellar. Because people love that fucking movie.
I like Interstellar.
And I don't remember having that vibe when I watched it at all. People adore that movie. I agree with you that he has an exposition problem. But I also agree that in Inception, it is necessary.
Oh, yeah,
and it
100%.
works really well. Because this is the most high concept sci-fi to date. You know, at the time, probably even still, like the actors even said, I had no fucking clue what it was when I read the script. I was just down to try. Like, sure, if you know what's going on, cool. Like they all joke about how they read it and they were like, okay. But it was so fun watching this last night because in my mind, I had thought this movie's great. Visually, it's very engaging and groundbreaking, even though he took a lot of images from anime and stuff, right? Like it's still at the time for live action, it was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? With like the city folding on itself and stuff. Yeah. He does a lot of cool filmmaking stuff, but emotionally, it's just like a lot of Nolan, just not there. He doesn't bridge that gap between impressive execution and heart, right? Mm-hmm. I was wrong about that. I think there's a lot of emotion in this movie. And I think it's one of Nolan's best in that regard. But it also has like really cool philosophical things about questioning reality, the nature of reality, a lot of cool meta commentary on art and creation. And watching this while taking notes, it sounds weird to say, but this is a movie that was like really fun to do that, you know, because I was typing like dream level 3, snow. You know what I mean? Like, and I was able to kind of track.
We're back in 3 now.
Yeah.
We're back in Dream 2.
Yeah, I understood this movie in a way I'd never had before. I was sober. I was trying. I'm older now. And before I was just like, whoa. And you know what I mean? And now I can see the layers of like, what a fucking impressive screenwriting venture. And he didn't write it with his brother, Jonathan, or anything like he usually does. It was all Nolan, which is interesting. By the way, James, who plays, who is Dom Cobb's son, is actually Magnus Nolan. It's Christopher Nolan's son.
Oh, what a Christopher Nolan name that is.
Yeah, Magnus.
Magnus Nolan.
I just realized that reading through the IMDb. And the cast in this movie is gobsmacking.
This cast is interstellar, am I right?
Ooh, you got Elliot Page, Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ken Watanabe, Tom Hardy, my personal favorite, Cillian Murphy, even a fucking random Tom Berenger jump
Tom
scare.
Berenger. Pete Postlewaite.
Yeah, you got Marion Cotillard, Michael Caine. I think I'm even missing somebody interesting.
Cillian Murphy. Did we say him?
Yeah, we did say Cillian Murphy.
Okay.
We did say Cillian Murphy.
Well,
So,
good.
incredible cast.
I'm glad you did.
Oh, by the way, Magnus Nolan played Baby James. The 3-year-old version was Jonathan Gere, who's the actual brother of the actor who played Philippa. So they were real siblings. Interesting. Any hoozle.
Very cool.
So I had a blast. I rated this 4.5 stars in Letterboxd.
Changed it.
It went up, man. I think Hans Zimmer's score, he put his whole Zimussy into this. I mean, it is fucking, I was listening because I was late to the podcast. I was listening to Time on the way here.
Yeah, it's a great track.
Yeah. And I just thought it was funny because like, since I'm late, let me try to save some time here. It was a joke for just me. It was a joke for just me. And I also think we talked about this last week about ambiguous endings.
Yes.
And how much you love those specifically, and how we both appreciate that.
I do.
So for that reason, I would think, and your love of sci-fi, then Inception would be one of your faves even. It doesn't seem to be the case, but.
Well, no, like I really, really like Inception. I think, like you said, the script is really, really tight. It is so high concept, and it does I think a really astounding job of keeping things together.
Yeah.
I know it was a joke for a long time of like, man, this is harder to understand than Inception, but I never really truly, believe that. I think he does a great job of making the story go through. But there is something about Inception where I don't watch it very often. Like I'm not drawn back to it as often as I am other sci-fi, and I think that's just because, it's a very good piece of film, but I don't know if it has like the I don't know the fun silliness that some sci-fi brings, like a laser gun or a robot, stuff like that.
Sure.
Because I'm a child, right? And
Yeah.
I never grew past the things I like at 10. But yeah, this movie is some of the most smart sci-fi that's ever been put on the big screen.
I agree. It's not perfect, right? I think a lot of things in this movie still don't 100% work for me. And I feel crazy saying this.
Yeah.
I think my least favorite part about this movie is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay.
Which is wild to say.
I don't disagree with you.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the writing of the character of Cobb in particular, or if it's the way that DiCaprio plays it. I can't tell. It might be a mixture of both. Mm-hmm. But I think it's ironically, and he's the protagonist, so that's a problem. He's the weakest link, right? Because he's like, you understand by the end, like this dude has actually, in fact, lived an entire lifetime in his subconscious already. So like he's a little off for that reason. But he seems so extra in the first hour of the movie. Like there's a scene specifically we'll get to where he freaks the fuck out on Ariadne when he's training her. And it's like, calm down. You are trying to teach her. You are aware this is a dream. You just told her this would happen and you are freaking out. It's when the subconscious grabs her.
Yeah.
No, get out of there. And like, you just said this was going to happen. And it threw me off. I'm like, you just told her this was about to happen. You knew it was coming. She's going to be fine. It's a dream. What? You know what I mean? Like, chill,
She'll
bro.
get the point if he screams.
Whereas like Cillian Murphy is so good in this. I think he's underrated as Robert Fisher because there's so much emotion to that character.
Yeah.
You think it's the villain, but it's just like this abused child, essentially. Tom Hardy carries this movie. Early Tom Hardy. Not early, like, but nobody was like, had a Tom Hard on like they did until shortly after this movie. And I adore that. That's my favorite living actor. So I'm obviously biased there, but he's so funny and like charming as
Yeah,
Eames.
he's great. I wish Eames was in it more, honestly.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
He's the
guy.
rock. He's the foundation of the movie. I don't think he's supposed to not have a personality.
Yeah, true.
The characters comment
but like
on
the
that.
slick back hair and the vest and stuff throws me off. And because it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I'm like, that's weird casting. Like,
I think it's great casting.
He seems like a sillier guy to me.
I think it's great casting because, Arthur's supposed, like, he carries himself as this, like, I'm super serious, but everyone's kind of makes fun of him, even though he is good at what he does. And someone trying extra hard to be super cooler than they actually, like, that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt to me.
Sure. I get it. I get that. Even Elliot Page, I think, is not a huge win in this role for me. Ariadne's great, but like,
she's very much the audience surrogate.
Yeah, but at the same time, she's this prodigy, right? At dream building. And she seems incredibly irresponsible because she realizes that like the whole B plot of the fact that Cobb is distracted by Mal is so detrimental to their mission and their own lives and safety that she figures out immediately. It just doesn't land with me. I can't explain what's going on with it in my mind, but it's like Arthur knows about Mal, knows that she shows up randomly, but doesn't seem to like think about it much or, and immediately Ariadne figures all this stuff out, but she also doesn't tell anyone else. She's just like, why?
You got to tell them.
You tell them or I'm going with you, even though I barely know what's going on. And that way I can protect everybody.
I've known you for 3 days.
It's really irresponsible for you to just like not drop a dime immediately.
Hey, he's holding his dead wife's memory hostage, guys.
Yeah, there's an elevator.
There's a reason why she keeps showing up.
It's the old kind.
It's really creepy.
Where the doors don't automatically shut. You got to close it like a dumb-waiter.
There should be an elevator operator there, but he's not there.
That's true. That's one of the big red flags about that
huge
dreamscape. So we can dive into it. But I do want to stress, I mostly loved my time revisiting this.
Yes. I do. Before we get into the scene-by-scene breakdown, we got to thank the patron who actually suggested this movie, and that was Trey Barrera.
Trey Barrera.
Yeah, Trey, forgive us for not saying your name sooner, but we've never gone into someone's brain before.
Yeah, we're all bamboozled, hoodwinked. Things are running amok.
All those things.
So the movie starts off with Cobb washing up on a beach. There's like a Japanese security guard poking his back with a rifle. And he's brought to an old man for whom he asks by name. He asks for you by name. And he gives him the top. He told you to have this, right? And it's an aged Ken Watanabe. We picked that up immediately. We're confused, but we picked that up.
Yeah. Why does he look like a potato?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. And he says, I am an old man filled with regret. Waiting to die alone. It's like, oh, this is interesting. I'm in. I'm in. Right. And then we cut to presumably earlier. It's Cobb at dinner with a young Mr. Saito.
What?
Which is Ken Watanabe's name. And they're interviewing him, offering to protect his mind. We are extractors. We can protect your mind from extracting is the gamut there, right?
Can you imagine if these were door-to-door salesmen?
Yeah. Let's try to explain the whole premise.
Like this very serious duo. Hey, have you thought about protecting your mind? People are fucking after it.
I love how all of the like uber rich are well aware of mind stealing.
Yeah.
And like have their subconsciouses trained and stuff. But in this universe, like the military invented this. So it's probably an established thing that exists. And they're interviewing to protect his mind. And then it cuts to the upper layer. So we can see that they're all asleep amidst some sort of revolution and what looks to be like a South American country of some kind.
Yeah, something like that. There's political unrest outside in the streets.
Yeah. Then we go back to the dream and Mal makes an appearance, right? So because Arthur's like, what's she doing here? Because they're walking around. And then there's this weird scene where he talks to her. You don't know who she is yet. He decides to rappel from the chair she's sitting on, which seems like a really dumb idea if she's like frequently disobedient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stay here. I need you to see her. I'll die. All right, bye. Damn it. She laughed.
Yeah.
You know?
It is a dumb thing to do because he knows that she like thinks he just needs to kill himself, right? So why, like, of course she's going to get up. Why
or
do
maybe
that?
he just, that's his character, like that he trusts her too much or something.
Yeah, he's always looking for the best.
But she gets up. And
I do love how they introduce this character because it is, you see her in the background and Arthur's like, Oh, geez, what's she doing here? Because it makes you kind of think
Bros
like,
before hoes, Cobb.
yeah, come on, dude. What's she doing here? We didn't invite her.
This is boys' night out? Boys go in dreams together? Okay.
Boys go in dreams together, not girls. No girls allowed in boy dreams.
Yeah, no girls allowed, Mal.
What's the password? Not boy, you're in.
Yeah.
Or
Girls
not,
drool.
not girl.
Not boy.
Not boy.
Yeah, you're right. It's a very cool way to introduce the character. It's also a cool sequence where it cuts to Cobb like being an assassin. The way that he like
he's like catching the bullet before it hits the ground.
shoots them, catches the bullet, slides, catches the
Or
body,
the casing.
But the edits are wild. Like they're so fast. And I was watching this thinking, Nolan just does not give a fuck. It seems to me, if you are keeping up with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, catch up, dumb loser. Not only am I going to introduce this extremely high concept thing in media res, because fuck you, but also I'm just going to jump right through it.
Boom.
Like extra fast, like Edgar Wright style.
Keep up.
Because like it cuts from the conversation and then the rappelling to the back of Leonardo's head with a pistol all of a sudden so fast. And you're just like, what?
Well, this might get me in trouble, but I've always thought that Nolan was not very good at filming action in general. Like there's a couple action scenes where like they're impressive by what's happening, but the way they're usually edited together or the type of shots that are formed don't actually make a good, like the Dark Knight movies are the biggest, I think, committer of this crime. But this movie at least has the elevator fight. But there's a lot of like, when I watch Nolan films, I'm like never impressed by the way he shoots action at all. It kind of just seems a little like, you can tell it was the least important thing on his day when he filmed those. He's more intrigued with the dialogue and story.
I would agree.
Yeah.
He's a very plot heavy individual. I don't think that's the craziest thing to say. I've never thought about that while watching The Dark Knight, but I think you're right. So yeah, he gets to the safe, he steals an envelope, and then that's when Saito comes in with Mal. So she's ostensibly snitched on him. She's dropped a dime, Steve.
She's dropping dimes,
He knows,
as the kids say.
and Saito knows they're asleep and that they're stealing from him. And he's like, did Mal tell you, or did you like figure that out on your own? Because that's important to me
That's
emotionally.
really, yeah, I really want to know that, because if I fucked up, then I'm going to feel bad.
Am I
and
the problem?
I don't want to be the problem. You're really smart, right? You're a very smart man.
But I should say also Arthur is in captivity at this point as well. And Mal points her gun at him, and killing him would just wake him up. But pain is in the mind. So she shoots him in the leg just to be a dick and then kills him anyway. So it's kind of funny.
Well, Leo kills him.
Oh, that's right. He's like trying to save his buddy.
He kills. Yeah, he wakes him up.
Yeah. So then Cobb runs, and we find out that the envelope pages were blank. He had swapped them. Catch him. But so he goes through the pages, but some of it's redacted anyway. There's no real information in there. In the real world, Arthur is trying to keep Saito asleep with the machine, because at this point we don't know what it is yet, but it's their like sedative machine. It looks like a briefcase.
Yeah.
And then they give him the kick. They dunk him in the water. The water comes rushing into the dream world. It's really cool visually.
So cool.
And then Saito wakes up with a gun.
Yeah.
So now they're in that like,
Because there's that third member of the team that's kind of supervising. I don't have his name. He's not important.
So then we get this interview scene with Saito, and you gather that this is like some apartment for his mistress, and they're claiming they got the the location from his wife. And he's like, no, I let you do all this to audition you, and you failed the audition. And he's like, well, we got all the information. What do you mean we failed? And he's like, yeah, but your deception was very obvious.
I saw it a mile away.
Right. And then we realize they're still asleep. That's how cool they are.
Yeah.
They're in a dream within a dream.
Yeah. Well, they knock him over and he falls on a rug, and
On the
he's like,
carpet.
polyester.
Polyester.
That's not.
I hate this rug, but it's definitely wool, right?
Yep.
So now Saito is impressed, and they're actually in a train. So they're back into the train we go, and they're yelling at, I forget his name because he's not with them very long. I had it at one point in my mind.
The kid with the headphones, or the other dude?
No,
Nash?
the guy, Nash, that gets fired. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Nash he's like, you're the architect, right? We also get a cool line about how Cobb doesn't like trains. He's like, I hate trains. I'm out of here. So he leaves, right? And they're all supposed to split up. So they failed to steal what they needed to steal for the Cobalt Engineering Company. And apparently, if you don't fulfill your job obligations, you just get killed.
You get killed.
in
This is
universe.
corporate espionage, my
Yeah,
guy, at the highest level.
Saito is super happy when he wakes up. He sees the kid with the headphones.
It's like, well, goddamn.
That was fun. You guys are good.
I do love that shot because he kind of looks at the window like, God, what a great day.
Yeah.
That was a great fucking nap.
Yeah, right. I feel so rested.
Not only did they impress me, but boy, they gave me the stuff that makes me feel good.
And there was a hot chick that showed up.
Oh,
that was a surprise.
Sweet.
She's a snitch, but still nice to have her around.
She shot that dude.
That was funny.
She great.
And then it cuts to Cobb. He's spinning a top on the table and preparing to shoot himself. And then when it falls over, he decides not to. We find more about that later, that's his totem. That's how he makes sure that he's not in a dream anymore. And he's ready to wake himself up, quote unquote, by suicide, if indeed it comes to that. It's such a good touch. The fact that he just leaves it there for that scene to play out that way. It's like, well, what is going on right now? Is this some kind of roulette?
Yeah.
Really cool.
What's the deal with this guy?
He gets a call from his children, Philippa and James. Grandma says you're never coming back. They're really rude.
Grandma says you're a skank ass bitch.
No, Grandma doesn't like you. I assume that's his wife's mom, Grandma?
Yeah.
Or is it his mom?
Well, so Michael Caine is his wife's dad.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought that was his dad.
No.
Okay.
Because they even mentioned at one point. Yeah.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to re-explain to his kids that mommy's not here anymore, right? Eventually they end up, Grandma hangs up the phone on him. We don't know what's going on.
What
there.
happened to mommy? We saw her.
Yeah, we just saw her. Oh,
Yeah.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
Why can't he go home? Where's home?
Where's home?
Is there a lot of traffic?
Is the train going home?
Is it because it's only by train? He doesn't like trains?
Yeah.
I'm confused. So they need to disappear because of the client, Kobo Engineering. And when they get to their helicopter, Arthur and Cobb, Saito's already there. They were sold out by Nash. And Nash is a bitch. And
he's dropping dimes.
he is. Saito, it doesn't like that about him. He's like, this guy's not allowed to come play with us.
This guy sucks.
He tried to snitch on you to me, and I don't like snitches.
I can't have that beauty sleep if I know there's a snitch on the team.
Saito's like, you kill him. And Cobb's like, that's not how I handle things. And he's like, well, then Kobo will get him. So he lets him free. We can assume Kobo kills him at some point.
Uh-huh.
And Saito wants Inception. So what the dream team, I like what I did there, what they do.
You're so proud of yourself.
I thought of that a second ago, So it was like, I didn't get to bask in it yet, Steve. I didn't write that down. So what the dream team does normally is extract information. They can break into someone's mind and take hidden information from that client, from that person, sorry. But what Saito wants to do is Inception. Put an idea there that was not there before, which most people in the field think is impossible. Cobb is one who knows, we find out, that it is possible.
Yep.
It's just very difficult, right? And I love this explanation. It's all exposition, but true inspiration is impossible to fake, is what Arthur says, because you have to make the person think they thought of it, or it's not. Because I love their metaphor. He's like, don't think about elephants. What are you thinking about? Elephants.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but that it came from me.
Yeah.
It's never going to stick. And I was like, oh, that makes perfect fucking sense. I get it. I get the difficulty.
Does this ever make you wonder, have I ever been incepted in some way? Not necessarily like a person breaks into your mind, but maybe when you're a little kid, someone said something and you're just not even realizing that you have this belief because it stemmed from one specific thing years ago.
I'm 100% positive that happens to entire worldviews.
What would that be for
everything?
You? What would that be for you?
Well, I had to. My dad taught me all kinds of misogynist things, and unbeknownst to him or I, but he was trying to raise me on a man's supposed to provide, and it's don't cry, and all this stuff, right? Patriarchy, Steve.
Wow, that was a great song you just came up with.
Patriarchy was incepted in all of us, right? But also small things. I don't know. I don't have any exact examples, but I mean, that's a lot of stuff you have to unlearn as you grow older.
I would love if it was possible to figure out why do I say dope all the time? Let's go back to
the origin
the inception of dope.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of a chameleon too. So I used to laugh like my friends laugh, and my dad would get mad at me. I just kind of morph into whoever I'm around. I did it a lot as a kid to try to fit in and not be noticed, not just how I dressed, but how I would talk.
So if you're hanging out with some people from Boston, you'd have a Boston accent.
I'd be like, oh, wicked.
Wicked.
What a wicked piss idea. I'm going to go park my car.
His cup of coffee.
Yeah. Red Dawn.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, I do that all the time. But yeah, I think this 100% happens. So he offers Cobb a chance to go home to America, right? And the idea that he wants to implant is he wants the son of the owner of a corporation to break up his father's empire. And Arthur does not want to do this plan. Let's just go. Because he said, hey, you can get on the plane and tell him to take you wherever you want to go.
Yeah, Arthur don't want no smoke.
He does not. And he says, or you can take the chance. I can't prove to you that I can clear your warrants, outstanding warrants in America. But you can take a risk on me, or you can just go and become an old man filled with regret, waiting to die alone.
Why did you say that name?
Huh? I don't like old men. And then
would you take this deal if you like just did a thing to try to rob this guy basically, and then he shows up the next day like, hey, do this. I'll give you everything you want. Just do this job for me. I'm trustworthy.
Yeah, I think I would if I was Cobb. He's got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's spiraling toward complete insanity. There is no way for him to go back to America until this magnificently rich and powerful person.
Man, thank God for the rich.
The plot wouldn't be there without him.
No, not.
It is wild because like Cillian Murphy and Pete, was it Postlewaite? Are so much richer and more powerful than Ken Watanabe in this movie.
Right, yeah.
But Ken Watanabe can just buy an entire airline without even thinking about it. Mm-hmm. He can call government.
I thought it would be cleaner if I just bought the airline, guys.
He can call American politicians and remove like a very serious murder case from someone's history in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And he is an ant compared to Pete Postlewaite, right?
Yeah.
I just think that's funny to me. Like, how powerful is that guy? Holy shit.
What is this
Maurice
world?
is packing.
Maurice is packing. Goddamn right he's packing.
That's right. Ultimately, he's like, if you do want to do this, assemble your team, choose your people more wisely. Nash sucks. Can't say that enough. Arthur tries to talk him out of it in the next scene. And then he's like, Arthur, I've done it before. And Arthur's like, what? And he doesn't explain because that would be more theatrical if he doesn't. He decides to go that route. He goes to Paris to look for a new architect because that's what Nash was. And I love how there's like a job name for every aspect of the dream team, right?
Yeah, it's very cool.
There's the dreamer, the forger, the chemist, the architect. Am I missing anybody? Whatever Arthur does.
Yeah.
The muscle.
The muscle, the brains.
Well, he's not. Like, his whole thing is that he lacks imagination. And you see that in one particular scene with a grenade launcher. But then later, it's like he's very imaginative when he comes up a way to kick them in zero gravity.
Oh, yeah.
In like 3 minutes.
He did. And he did not do that in 3 minutes, but it was a very imaginative plan.
It was.
I loved it.
Yeah. That was his character arc. Imagination.
I learned something.
The person he goes to see in Paris is Miles, played by Michael Caine, which is his father-in-law, who taught him everything he knows about dream robbing. Didn't plan on him being a dream robber. He just wanted him to be like a dream navigator, I guess.
Yeah, like how fun is this?
Yeah.
You get to go into dreams.
I don't know.
Wee, I'm in your dream.
I'm Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
I am in your dreams.
I just wanted to come into your dreams and tell you how fucking beautiful you are.
I would love to go to sleep and have Michael Caine pop in. You're fucking cool, mate.
I love. We need to bottle that and sell
You
it
wanted
somehow.
to know the secret. You wanted to work it out. Are you just quoting The Prestige to me in my dream? No.
When stuck in your bloody head as long as I've been. You can say whatever you bloody well like.
That's right. And then he can't design the dreams himself. He's like the pro dream designer architect. He can't do it because Mal won't let him. If she knows the maze routes, which we find out in a little bit, then she'll spoil it. She's a hater. She's essentially a dream hater.
She'll ruin the plan.
Yeah, she's a hater.
She's a hater.
She's like, fuck this whole plan.
Yeah.
They're going to rob you.
That's why, fun fact, every scene Mal's in, you can see her drinking that haterade.
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
Guzzling it.
Mm-hmm. Look. So he says, look, I need someone who's like almost as good as I am at dream making. That's how important this job is. Because he's propping himself up there.
I don't want to humble brag, but
I'm the best. I need somebody as good as me. And then Miles shits on him. Says, I've got somebody better.
Ariadne.
And cooler.
How would you like to live a life of crime?
No, why does he do that?
This is my most promising student. I'm going to get her into the underbelly of crime. I am.
That's essentially what they do. Because he's like, oh, cool. Here you go.
We'll call it an internship.
He's not paid.
It's going to be you'll be paid in credit.
And if you lose, you go to prison for the rest of your life. Or die.
I like this Arthur character, or this Miles character, Miles.
But if you complete it, you end up in Los Angeles for no reason. That helps you at all.
Free trip?
LA? Boba tea?
Oh, everybody loves boba tea.
That's true. Anywhoozle, it's Ariadne, played by Elliot Page. Cobb essentially gives her a job interview, asks her to design a maze.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah. What would you say is your least best quality?
That I don't snitch on my friends.
He said, "Oh, that's great." He says to design a maze in 1 minute that would take me 2 minutes to solve, or some shit. 2 minutes that would take me 1 minute to solve. I can't remember. She fails a few times, and then she does it. And then
it's like, you're not playing with power. She goes right back into it.
Oh, let me use the cardboard part instead of the paper part. And he's like, oh, I'm intrigued. You're thinking out of the box. You're doing a circle instead of a square.
Whoa.
And then we find out he's teaching her while in a dream, right? In the next scene, they're at this cafe. Everything starts exploding. And I love this. This is kind of a goofy Nolanism. But he's like, stay calm. And everything's exploding around them. And the whole cool thing is that they're not reacting, right? But then he's like, ah! And she's like, wait, why'd you do that? You told me to stay calm. And he's like, oh, this shit hurts.
Oh, no, you can die. You're going to feel it. Hopefully it's a quick death. You went stuck under this rubble.
It's still glass in your eye.
Yeah.
It reminds me of...
wait, why didn't you tell me that when we started?
It kind of steals from The Matrix a lot, right? Like when you die in The Matrix, you die in real life because the dreams make it real or whatever. Your mind makes it real is what Morpheus says.
Also, don't look at the woman in the red dress.
That's true. Same kind of vibe in the scene with Robert Fisher. We also find out in some exposition that the military developed dream sharing to so they could battle train and kill each other, but not actually kill each other. 5 minutes in the real world is an equivalent of an hour in the dream, is what he also tells her in this expository section. And while she's crafting her own dream, so now she's in Cobb's subconscious in the next scene, she sandwiches the dream city upside down. And he's like, oh shit, nobody does a city sandwich on their first day ever.
That's a whole lot.
It's like, what if I play with the physics? And it's really cool scene visually where the cars are driving upside down, all kinds of stuff. It's really neat. He's impressed, but now he tells her that his subconscious is getting pissed at her. The more she changes things, the more the subconscious realizes it's a dream, and they'll physically attack her like a cancerous cell. And there are the white blood cells, right? She does this cool double mirror move. She's just having a ball.
She's so creative.
He's like, hey, stop.
I know I wanted you for your creativity, but you're being a little too creative.
I love this next scene on a rewatch. He sees Maul on the bridge, realizes that it's a real bridge, and gets upset. Never create places that you actually know. You can use pieces of things, but never whole memories, because then your mind will lose hold of what's reality if you do that, right? And it's because it's neat how visually Nolan shows you that he recognized it was a real place because he's been there with his wife, but also that's what happened to his wife.
Yeah.
So it's this double visual of inserting Maul. He's incepting the idea that, oh my God, that Maul did that in that scene, Steve. Genius. And then Mal fucking stabs her.
Poke.
And that's the scene I don't like, or at least I don't like DiCaprio's performance very much in this scene, or maybe the way it's written. Because again, he's like, they're going to kill you. I'm telling you, stop doing that. They're going to all try to beat you up. But then it happens, and he's like, you know?
Get the children.
He's Dumbledore's, He's a really high-pitched Dumbledore.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to audio listeners.
That's fine.
And YouTubers. I don't know. It probably looked ugly. Everyone, I'm sorry.
Generally, I'm sorry with people with ears.
Everyone with ears. Yeah. And she needs a totem. We find that out. Arthur tells her about totems. That's what the top is that Cobb uses. Arthur has a loaded die, and Ariadne can't touch it because only he knows the weight. Mm-hmm. And that works because if somebody had him in a dream and was trying to trick him, they would get the weight of his die wrong.
Right.
Or maybe would forget to put it in his pocket at all. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's a cool idea. And who invented that idea, Steve?
Mal.
That's right.
Mal. Not Malcolm Reynolds. Mal. Sorry.
By the way, side note, because we were talking about Malcolm McDowell so much the other day.
Hello, I'm a British person.
He's going to be at Fantastic Fest. I'm gonna meet Malcolm McDowell right after our giant Malcolm McDowell talk.
Hell yeah!
I'm excited for that.
Can you tell him about how much we love him and we want him to be in every post-apocalyptic sci-fi movie?
Yeah. I hope he shows up at the end of the festival and hello everyone. It's almost over. This is typically when I show up. I knew that. Wow, it's real. In real life, you do that. Anyway, I just thought that was neat. He's got a new movie coming out, apparently. No. It's because Caligula, the ultimate cut, is showing there.
The ultimate cut.
It's like 4 hours of Caligula. I'm gonna watch it.
Are you really?
I'm gonna see his dick so much.
Thank God.
Right.
I mean, that's all you've wanted for Christmas this year.
What if I say nice dick to Malcolm McDowell? Hey, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a stunt dick.
I grew it myself.
You should thank the makeup department.
Anywho,
Malcolm McDowell's dick.
That's the name of my new band. That's a band name. Write it down. Name. Malcolm McDowell's dick.
Malcolm McDowell's dick.
And welcome to the stage.
We're here to show up in the third act and sound cool. 1, 2, 3, 4.
My cheeks hurt. Not from the dick. My actual. Anyway, she needs a totem. It's not Malcolm McDowell's dick. And Cobb has to visit Eames because now he needs a forger. And right before this, Ariadne had stormed out because she's like, how do you guys fucking hang out with this guy? This lady shows up and stabs you? Not a fan.
Not cool.
And Arthur's like, she does do that.
You've met Ma. She's a fun joke.
She usually shoots me.
Sometimes she tortures me.
I don't think about it much.
But hey, that didn't happen to you, am I right?
So they need a thief and a forger. That is Eames, played by Tom Hardy, and he's in Mombasa, I think. Mm-hmm. I didn't Google where that is. Do you know where that is?
Kenya?
You just saying a random thing. I respect you for doing that.
Let's see.
You could have said nothing like a weak person.
I know, but yeah,
oh,
Kenya.
It is Kenya. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Suck my dick.
You said it twice. Wow. Your Kenyan knowledge is impressive.
I know shit.
Wow. I'm actually really impressed.
Well, I've told that story before about how I had to take this like ridiculous
You're a geography
test in college.
No.
I had a professor. It was a world history class. So it wasn't just like the Revolutionary War. It was like, no, this is the history of the world, motherfuckers. And the first thing he did was okay, you guys have a week to prepare. We're going to have a test where I test you on where every single country is in the world.
Yeah.
And also there will be where is this city in the world? Like what country is this city in? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you what's going to be on the test or not. You just have to know the globe, figure it out. And I studied so fucking hard for that test. And
just memorizing random places and cities, right?
Memorizing what each country was, some of the cities that were in them,
capitals,
some geographical locations and stuff. Yeah, it was mostly capitals. And then we took the test and, we do the test. And then the next class after that is when you get the grades, right? And the teacher did something that I will never forget and I will always hate, and it still makes me feel gross today, is he goes, Steve, why don't you stand up? I'm like, what? And I stand up and everyone else is seated, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, I just want everyone to know that out of a possible 100 points on this test, Steve scored 120 points. He got every single question, including the bonus questions, right. And I have never in my history of teaching had that happen before. You should all be like Steve. And I was just like, please stop speaking. I feel like such a dick.
It could not have been worse as if he was like, Steve, stand up, please. I want everyone to know Steve has the littlest dick I've ever seen.
Look at him. Everyone look at him.
And with what he does have, he does not know how to use it. Mm-hmm. He prematurely ejects.
Look, he's doing it now. He's doing it now. Look at him go. Good boy.
I know we're talking about dicks a lot, even more than normal in this episode. Let me say one more dick thing.
Okay.
My friends.
Chris Nolan is so happy.
The most high concept sci-fi.
And we just keep talking about the dicks. Christopher Nolan.
Somebody, this is all in Madison's mind. That's why.
That's true. Hey, that makes sense.
So my friend sent me this meme, and it was just a business card that said selling dick. And then in tiny print, it said $40 an inch. All 3 inches for $100. And I thought that was funny. I just want to share that out of context dick joke. So yes, they're in Mombasa and they end up meeting with Eames, which is fucking Tom Hardy, and he's doing a great job.
It's a great name.
In this role. It's so good. And he knows that Inception is possible as well. And he's like, oh no, it's fucking super possible. I love it. Do a terrible Tom Hardy impersonation. Because he's got like deep, thick British accent. I don't know what it is. Like what part. It's like a very specific. Nobody talks like Tom Hardy.
He's got there's a little airiness to his voice too, which I love.
It's very hard it's very hard to hammer that down. And so you need to distill the idea to its absolute most basic point, right? So the idea they need to incept, which is not a verb, is that, maybe it is, that they want the son to break up the father's empire.
Yeah.
But they want to start with the absolute basic version of that, which is the son's relationship with the father, right? Mm-hmm. That's what the idea is there. And they still need a chemist. And it's also kind of weird that like the perfect, most genius chemist for their team is also in this city. Like Tom Hardy's like, oh, my dog Yusuf is down the street. He's fucking great with chemistry.
We're pretty good homies.
I go there all the time. Coble Engineering is tailing Cobb. They want to kill him, remember? There's a funny, like, all the funny lines are for Tom Hardy because he's like, is it dead or alive? And he's like, I guess I'll find, all that shit is funny.
Yeah.
I guess I'll find out.
I do love the tails that he picks up. It's like, looks like you've got a tail. Oh, is it the other two dudes who are bald in suits? Yeah. The only other two people in the city?
Everyone else is just like colloquial, like dressed and like minding their own business, and they're just staring right at them. Oh, I didn't notice them.
We stick out like sore cultural thumbs.
Mm-hmm. So he has to lose them, come back to the same spot because they'll be the last place they expect. And he's like, that's true. And then there's this cool action chase where he's done a very terrible job at losing the tail. They are, in fact, trying to kill him. We find out.
I do love how everyone in this city drops a dime on Cobb every chance.
He's like, I just want to order a coffee. And he's like, get the what is he even saying? We don't know. But it's like, no.
We don't even serve coffee here.
Yeah, stop it. You just sat down there playing chess.
This
you
is
interrupted.
A bank. What are you doing? Get out.
Cafe. No.
That's across the street.
He does not like Leonardo DiCaprio. He's not a fan. So then he gets stuck in this like tiny alley. That was cool. The score is crazy good, but like in the tiny alley, it's like stressful.
He's trying to wiggle out.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You're trying to wiggle?
That would suck.
I don't like tiny spaces. I don't like being chased or shot at. Mm-hmm. Like nothing about what he's going through in that moment is desirable to me.
Does not look like a good time.
No.
Definitely not a romp.
Saito saves him. He's trying to keep track of his investment or whatever. Then they show up and pick up Tom Hardy, Eames. And he's like, I told you to lose the tail. And he's like, different tail, get in. And it's cute. Back at the workshop, Ariadne returns as Cobb predicted. She's not going to be able to stay away from creating dreams at this point. Reality's not going to be enough for her.
She's got the nummies.
When she gets back, have her create 3 dreams. 3, yeah, because that's what they need. It's just pure creation is what she says, right? Like, I love it. It's like, you ever seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? And he's like, yes, I've seen that movie. She's like, remember that song? Pure
imagination.
And then it cuts. Weird Nolan choice. I get it though. They didn't have the rights to the music.
Oompa Loompa. The Oompa Loompas come out in the dreams. What do you get when Saito gets shot?
Yeah, they start rolling Saito away. Every time somebody dies in the dream, an Oompa Loompa pops up.
And then Dom's like, fuck the Oompa Loompas.
Oh,
I didn't tell you guys about them.
that's my other ex-wife. All the Oompa Loompas.
All of them.
Yeah, we were married. I miss them.
We spent 60 years in the dream world.
Well, we had our time together on that beach.
Oh, man.
In that chocolate factory that we built.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. It can be tough out there as we try to navigate the many twists and turns that life throws our way. Not every problem we face has an obvious or easy solution, but talking through these issues can always bring major benefits. So whether you're dealing with a career change, relationship help, or just getting used to your new normal, therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life, so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. I myself have benefited from therapy. I have benefited from BetterHelp. I was struggling to find myself and figure out who I was post-divorce. BetterHelp matched me with an amazing therapist who taught me all about codependency, what it was, and ways I can combat it and realize my whole true self. So if it sounds like therapy is the right move for you, then give BetterHelp a try. It's online, convenient, flexible, and can work with your schedule. Filling out a brief questionnaire is all it takes to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time. To start your own therapy journey, visit betterhelp.com/streamingthings today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/streamingthings. It's the month of September, and with a new month comes a new opportunity for us to be thankful for all of the stream fiends who help us at Streaming Things keep the lights on and make this show what it is. So let's give a super patron shout out to some of our most ardent supporters on patreon.com/streamingthings. Thank you so much to Becky the Farmer, Kaylee Sampson, Stanton Valentino, Sunshine, Huckleberry Cauliflower, Optimus, Mike from New Hampshire, Brett X, Emily Scarano, Lil Tickler, Svento7, Jay Scramo, AK Ashley Ray, Adam Busby, Wendy O'Laughlin, Jason Hawkins, Butthorn, Conrad, David Malfara, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, Jose Ruben Cruz Rodriguez, Charlie Friday, Alexis Adler, Emmy, Joe Velez, Valerie, John Collins, Amber McVeigh, Amanda King, Trisha Bueller, Sun Loving Mortal, Suzanne Rode, Jadinklage Morgoon, Jen Robinson, Kate, Kalisha Reeves, Aaron Armstrong, Kevin Strother, Jeanette Murphy, Ashley Powers, Stephen V, Casey McCain, and Enza. And with that, back to the show.
Arthur teaches her about closed loops and things like that, like how they have to build these mazes, like things that look like places the dreamers recognize, but also they're built by them so they can't escape and they can have places to hide from subconscious, things like that. It's really neat, I think. She knows that Cobb won't build anymore. You can't or you won't. She talks to him, confronts him about that. Talks to Arthur about it as well. And, I think it's Mal. And he's like, that's when he tells her she's dead. In the next scene, we meet Yusuf, the chemist. And Cobb says, I need a sedative that can withstand 3 dream levels. He's like, oh, you can't do that. That's crazy. That's crazy, Tom.
That's crazy.
He's like, I do it all the time. Which is interesting. I like the idea. It's a little like hand wavy and magic-y. Like, because later on he's like, oh, I customized the sedatives to leave your inner ear intact so that you can, it's like, can you do that?
Can you do that?
Can you do that with sedatives? So essentially Yusuf's
Dear
like
sedative, go around this body part, please.
Yeah. Essentially he's like the world's best anesthesiologist is what the quote unquote chemist is in this group. And Saito's like, I'm going too. And they're like, no tourist on a job like this.
What?
But he's right. Like, that's the only way I can know that you actually did the job. Otherwise, they would just literally take a nap and wake up and be like, pay us. You know what I mean? Because there's no information to give him.
That does have to happen.
With Extraction, it's like, here's the info. But with Inception, it's like, yeah, we did it.
Totally did.
Cool. Nux.
Man, can't wait for that to turn around in 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's true. That's so funny. Like how would I mean? Even with, I guess if they steal it, you're right. If they steal the information, that's proof that they did the job. But I was going to say like, how can people check if someone just wakes up like, yep,
got it.
Well,
yeah, like I think with Extraction, there's proof. With Inception, there's not. He's right. So he's like, I have to go, idiots.
Like 20 years later, Cobb gets a call from Saito. He's like, I think something went wrong. He's like made skiing his entire personality. And he hasn't broken up the businesses yet.
He loves Friends. He's just watching it all the time. I don't know what we did in there. Ross. They put it in the safe.
He keeps going to burger places and asking for it ultra rare, the burger. He never did that before. I think we fucked up something.
He's just putting buns on a cow and biting it.
He's not allowed near petting zoos anymore.
That's ultra rare. Things can go wrong with Inception. We find that out later. That's true. So he needs 3 levels of dream juice. And Yusuf takes him down to his like dream lair. Like, this is what I do all the time. Everybody likes to dream here.
My magical emporium.
He slaps the shit out of one dude to prove how good his sedative is. See? Still sleeping. Ow.
That guy's dead.
Why do they come here every day and put up with this weird opium den looking place? They come to be woken up. The dream has become their reality. And then Cobb's like, let me try some of this heroin you got here. I want to see that. So he goes to sleep, takes a quick nap. We see train tracks. We see Mal. His dreams are terrible. And then he wakes up. And I like, there's a scene here I thought was going to play out more the first time I watched it. Cause like he drops his totem when he comes out. Saito, I think, comes in and disturbs him right before he's about to spin it.
Yeah.
And he just picks it up and puts it in his pocket. And they could have done something cool where he was still in a dream because he forgot to check. But they never do anything with it. It's just him like disgruntled in the bathroom. We meet the character of Robert Fisher, played by Cillian Murphy, and Maurice is his dad, because Eames is wanting to meet Browning. So we can assume in this scene that Eames worked his way in with his forged references to be in the room with Browning.
That charming man.
He just wants to spy on Tom Berenger. Tom Berenger, random choice to play this character.
So random.
I hadn't seen him in a movie since the 80s, and now it's just Tom Berenger. Yeah, for sure.
I was very happy to see him. Like, oh, there he is.
Browning's the right-hand man. He's like the lawyer, the godfather, all that stuff. We also see, so that's Peter Browning. And then Eames plans on using Browning to do the Inception. And it's really genius writing, like their whole plan for how to make Robert Fisher think that he thought of this stuff on his own is to use somebody so close to him like Browning to suggest something to him on one level of the dream. And anyway.
And then reinforce it at a deeper level.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but I think it's really clever. We cut to Ariadne making a totem. It looks like a bishop chess piece, I thought.
Yeah.
And then like Cobb tries to trick her. Oh, let me see it. She's like, no, it's my totem. Jurassic Park.
You didn't
reference.
say the magic word.
Ooh, you're learning. That's when we find out the totems were Mal's idea. And then so we find out his backstory. He can't go home because they think he killed Mal. She's dead. They think I murdered her and I'm wanted for that murder. Yeah. And then he goes, it was a really cool, I thought it was a cool moment. Thank you. She's like, for what? He's like, for not asking if I did. That was cool. Because she didn't. I would have.
Would you? Would you be like, one step further? Did you kill? You would actually ask?
I don't know. But it would occur to me for sure.
I feel like your social anxiety would make it so like now you feel like you have a secret and you can't bottle that up.
I'm not good with secrets.
And you're just going to like go to a different theater to see a different movie?
Yes.
Someone sat in your seats?
That's true. But I also habitually overshare. I'm not shy about awkward questions, you know? So I might think it was appropriate. Hey, did you kill her? Maybe she needed to be killed. I don't know. I didn't know her. I know she kind of sucks in the dreams.
Yeah, that's true.
She was trying to stab you. I get it.
She's always trying to kill people in the dreams.
Real stabby.
Yeah.
I don't know. So then they're talking about how to go about this plan, and DiCaprio or Cobb's like positive emotion always trumps negative emotion. So we need him to have a healing relationship with his father. We need catharsis, not some kind of like anger at his father. I think we should play on a positive emotion. Mm-hmm. They continue planning in dreams. And I like, so it comes about that the only time they're going to have him asleep long enough, there's no surgeries or anything coming up, is, I don't remember, somewhere to LA. It's the longest flight in the world, or one of the longest. It's a 10-hour flight, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Sydney to LA.
Sydney, Australia?
Yeah.
Okay. Sydney, Australia to LA, 10-hour flight. And so on Dream Level 1, that flight would take 1 week. On Dream Level 2, the dream within a dream, that flight would take 6 months. And on dream level 3, the dream within a dream within a dream, that flight would take 10 years. And Ariadne is the only one that can do math in this movie. She does it twice. They all pause and look at her, and she's like,
is that
10
right?
years. Yeah. Well, Eames is straight up like, math's not my strong suit. But it happens later in the movie without that conversation, and I think it's funny. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I've never quite understood that before my maybe second, maybe third viewing recently. I thought it was fun.
That there's a different time and different levels.
Well, I knew that, but like this is specifically the flight time.
Oh, okay. That the numbers they specifically reached out were the flight.
And so this is when he's customized the sedative to leave the inner ear function unimpaired, because they're gonna have to ride the kicks through the different dream levels. Is the only way to get back. And this is where we get the funny joke. Well, the flight needs to be a 747 airplane, which I didn't know this about first class on 747s, that the cabin is in the nose and the pilot's up top so that nobody walks through the first class cabin on 747s. And I bought the airline, right? I bought the airline. I thought it was cleaner.
Yeah. I love the way he's looking like, oh shit, guys, was I not supposed to buy the airline?
Yeah, so sheepish. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm new.
I made $6 billion since I bought it already.
I mean, yeah, it's working great for me.
Was that something I shouldn't do?
Wait, does the profits now do you guys own part of the profits since we're in on this? We're teamsies?
Mm-hmm.
I
went ahead and gave you guys a bunch of stock.
Man, this is why I don't do dream stuff.
Ariadne is spying on Cobb in his own dream. She just hops in there. I guess that's easy to do.
Sup, girl?
And it's Mal's in there. They're in like a hotel room. You know what you have to do. We had a dream that we'd grow old together. Then it's like a horror movie. It's really
where she like whips her head and looks
I think
at him.
Nolan should try to direct a horror movie based on Inception, which is a weird sentence, but because there's a few like scary scenes.
Mal's scary.
Yeah. She like whips her head over. Bang, bang. And then they hop in his dream elevator of regrets. And
come with me.
A world of
pure sadness.
I can't think of a negative word that ends in ation. I was trying so hard.
Of pure and total vexation.
Pure agitation. Something like
there
that.
There you go.
They're not just dreams. They're memories. You said to never use memories. They're all things he regrets, right? He's like, I did say that. And then Arthur later's like, Cobb.
You're right. I did say that.
Isn't it cool how Cobb always does stuff he says not to do?
Man, if I wasn't dead inside, I would probably care about that.
This pomade has killed my brain cells.
Am I a dream?
Yeah. And they go into this memory of his house. It's when he was given the plane ticket, and one of his biggest regrets is that he never called out to his kids. So he wanted to see their faces one last time, but instead, by the time he was about to call out to them, they were gone. And presumably he just hopped a plane and left right at that moment.
Yep.
But while he's like telling that really heartfelt story, she like runs back to the elevator to see.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
He's just so wistfully like, this is my bag.
She wants to go to the basement to see the forbidden memory.
Surprisingly, that's me when people try to like spill their heart to me. Oh no.
Stop.
I don't want to be stuck.
And on that forbidden floor, she sees a train. And I kept noting every time we saw a train, because I liked the line at the beginning. I don't like trains. You know it's going to pay off. She goes to a destroyed hotel room. Mal's in there. She's an angry elf. Who are you? I like too that she's like Ariadne stepped on the broke the champagne glass the same way that Cobb really does in what actually happened. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And we find out that Mal's just in a prison of his memories. That's why she keeps showing up. He's unwilling to let her go. He's got her locked there for him to visit the sad parts of her whenever he wants.
Hopefully there's happy stuff in there too. We just made stops at the sad ones.
No, he said the whole elevator is just things he regrets.
Oh.
You know, he's just racked with guilt.
That's true. We did say that.
Which is why I think, to step away for a second, there is so much more emotion than I give. This movie is so much more than high concept, you know, like it's about a man just trapped in regret and how to move on, how to grieve. There was all kinds of stuff.
There was an interview, I think it was with Christopher Nolan's wife. But she was saying that when they got towards the later stages of the script being written,
Emma Thompson, right? Producer.
Yes. But yeah, she was saying how like towards the end of the writing period, they always wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to be Dom. Cobb. And so he was kind of like involved towards the end of the screenwriting process because he really took a liking to it. And he was the one that really kind of he emphasized the part where like this needs to be about Dom's character and this loss and grief with his wife. That's going to make the audience care about this story.
Yeah.
And even Nolan said that was like the biggest contribution that Leo had on the script, was making this big sci-fi romp circled around this guy's, heartbreak and remorse and everything for his wife and kids.
Yeah. Go Leo.
So go Leo. But just try to be cooler, man.
Yeah. And then we hear that Maurice Fisher died. And then it's not in the plan. She was just supposed to design the dreams, right? But now she's like, I need to come because I'm the only one that's aware of the issues you're having with Mal. I'm starting to really like you, man. I don't know why. I feel attached to you in some way. I know you just picked me up from college, so I'm probably in your age range for dating, is from what I hear about you.
Ew.
And so, again, this kind of bothers me, but I get like the conceit of how to have this character join this mission. But it's like, you don't really know him that well. You should probably just tell everyone else, like, this guy sucks. It's extremely mentally unstable. But that's the deal. Like, you tell Arthur or I come, keep your secret with you and help fend off Mal. And Cobb's like, okay.
Okay, fine.
I'm definitely not telling Arthur. That guy sucks. He's really not empathetic at all.
He always makes fun of my fashion sense, but in like a lame way.
He never liked Mal. That's the thing. That's why I don't tell him. And I'll be honest. Yeah, she shoots him a lot.
Sure.
That's her thing. Who cares?
I mean, come on,
real judgy
guy. Get over it.
Yeah.
We've all been shot.
Oh, where's your girlfriend? Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's probably because you do the weird kissing thing. That's your pickup line with girls. Like, hey, someone's after us. Kiss me.
I know, but it's like Ariadne's into it. I don't know how to read that scene because it's like it's gross, but at the same time, she's like, you dog, But anyway, they get on the plane. They're about to do the deal. And he looks at Saito. Cobb looks at Saito and says, if you don't honor our agreement, I go to jail for the rest of my life when we land. Again, it's a leap of faith. He's doing all this assuming
a leap of faith
that Saito can do that. And he's like, oh, I know. Nux, buddy. And they sit down. And then they drug Robert Fisher on the plane. They all get sedated. And the flight attendant's in on it. And they enter Dream Level 1, Rainy City.
Ooh.
They have to find Robert, who they presume is going to be looking for a taxi in this weather. So they steal a taxi. Cobb and Ariadne get hit by a fucking train.
The train just comes out of nowhere. And that
scared the shit out of me.
That's a neat visual, just seeing an old ass train just barreling down the Chicago streets.
Yeah, it's really nice, except for it was like 1 a.m. at this part of the movie. I have subwoofers and everything. And it was wild. It was like, boom! I was like, ah! Thought I woke my baby up and everything. But yeah, they get hit by the fucking train. The taxi starts being assaulted by gunmen. Saito gets shot. We find out, and this is the most hand-wavy exposition part of the movie probably for me. Oh no. Fisher had an extractor trained his subconscious, and now the subconscious has been militarized. And we didn't expect that at all. I was
no.
What?
Why didn't that show up in the research?
Exactly. But not only that, but why are we just now learning that that's even possible?
I love how, especially Ariadne, keeps being thrown into situations where she could die or be maimed, but she's going to be in a lot of pain. And Cobb and company is like, oh shit, we didn't tell you that. Sorry.
Yeah. Sometimes the actual mind that you're entering can just be an army of people knowing you're there.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare.
It's so, oh my God. It's so not likely to happen. I mean, I know this guy's a rich billionaire and we're trying to do this to him.
Right.
But like, he definitely doesn't have that service.
It's so wild to me, but I mean, it makes it interesting, right? And also they're about to just shoot Saito in the face to spare him the pain. And then Cobb's like, no. He'll go to limbo. And they're like, what?
What? We just have
the sedative is so strong that he's not going to wake up. He's going to go to limbo. So we find out that there's a place in Dreamland that is so deep, it's like below level 3.
It's like deep in your subconscious.
You can get lost there for centuries and just die there.
They're crazy.
And Cobb has been there. We get a little piece of that. We also get an allusion to the fact that if anyone else enters limbo, it'll be the limbo that Cobb did to it. It'll be how Cobb left it, which is weird because there's like one place everyone would go is limbo, which I thought was funny. they're all mad, obviously. Well, you didn't tell us this. So that now they can't die in this land, right? Or they're going to go to limbo. This is like, that's, and poor Ariadne is like, I just want to come along to help.
I just wanted a college credit.
Mission. Yeah.
I was promised a college credit. I feel like I'm owed more now.
Yeah. I get like 10% of a bachelor's degree for this. This is bullshit.
I'm not even on a scholarship, guys.
And Yusuf knew about it too. And he is being paid Cobb's whole share. All Cobb wants out of this is to go back home to his children. He doesn't want any money or anything. He was in there for decades. You can be there infinitely in limbo. This is wild. The stakes are very high at this point of the movie, right?
So high.
Fisher is being very arrogant about the kidnapping. He's like, look, guys, I'm insured for $10 million. This should be very simple for kidnapping, you know.
Yeah, well,
they're like, shut the fuck up, rich boy. And he's like, huh? Eames is impersonating.
We're gonna go fuck up Tom Berenger.
Yeah, not Tom Berenger. I love him.
I love his movies. I'll give you anything. Leave Tom Berenger alone.
Eames is impersonating Browning, Uncle Peter, and they pretend to torture him and stuff.
Remember when you took me to Peter Beach?
So we find out that the pain that Saito is experiencing will be less intense for each level they go down. So that's why he seems like less and less affected by the bullet at first. And the tactic that they go to with Robert Fisher is that there's an alternate will in the safe. And that's what Browning's telling him. It's so complicated. But Tom Berenger is actually Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And they're telling him that there's an alternate will in the safe. That's what they're trying to get to, right?
Yeah.
And we need a code to that safe. Maybe you know it subconsciously or something. Maybe he told you some numbers.
Maybe if like you could incept that for me.
Right. And Ariadne asks about when Cobb was in limbo, right? And we find out he was down there with his wife, Mal. They were down there for 50 years. What?
That's a long time.
It is indeed. She locked her totem away on purpose so that she could better accept limbo as her reality. We don't find out the full story here, but it seems like what happened was when they got back to the real world, she didn't believe the real world was real anymore. And she needed to die to wake up. She thought she could kill herself to go back to the real reality. It's very sad, actually, and like kind of believable what happened to Mal, you know?
Yeah, even the whole like idea of like putting memories in boxes and stuff and incepting ideas, like just the idea of someone you live in a space for that long and then you come out of it. Like, of course you're going to be like, well, that's the life I made. I was 50 years.
It's so fucking weird. But it's only been like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wild, isn't it?
I'm young again.
Yeah. It'd be so fucking weird. So, you know, she needed to die to wake up is what she thought. So she wanted to jump off the roof together. She did all kinds of crazy stuff. Like she filed a letter with her attorney saying that her husband was about to, just to like sabotage this plane of reality for him. So it'd be easier for him to leave.
Yeah.
Is what she was thinking she was doing. But it's the real world. So she's just fucking him royally.
Yeah.
She even had herself declared sane by 3 different psychiatrists. Like Nolan tried to think of everything that you couldn't use to be like, well, why didn't they just do this?
Also, there's a witness she paid off right here. His name is Doug.
Like he was like, think of something else. I already thought of it. Hello, I'm Doug.
That's me,
Where's
Doug.
that Doug?
Hello.
He has to, and then Ariadne.
I got some chips
Ariadne
out of the cupboard.
She psychoanalyzes
Thanks
him.
for the chips, by the way.
Bye, Doug. And so, I'm not interested in this Doug character.
I just saw how you annoyed you were getting and had to keep doing it.
I just didn't know when it was going to stop.
Now you're worried.
So she tells Cobb that he has to forgive himself and confront Mal. Like that's the only way out of this, right? Meanwhile, the troops, the subconscious military is closing in. They have to hurry. So they go in ski masks, which I thought was a nice touch because later when Fisher sees DiCaprio's face, he's never seen it before. So you're not like, oh, that's bullshit.
Oh, come on. He saw him.
Right. And he's like, think of the first fucking 6 numbers you could think of. 528491. And he's like, so that's what they're going to use the rest of the levels down for other things. I just thought that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just fucking
just have
cool.
him spit out random numbers and they use it against him.
So then they find out like, oh, his relationship with his dad is way more fucked up than we thought when I was talking to him down there. And they're like, oh, great. Because
past trauma.
Yeah. The stronger the issues, the more like effective the catharsis, right?
Yeah.
And this is where I saw like the early knock that Eames had about Arthur not having a good imagination. Because Arthur's using that rifle and he's trying to kill the snipers. And then Eames walks up and he's like, you gotta go bigger than that, mate. And he's got a fucking grenade launcher.
You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
Yeah, there we go. And
It's a
like,
funny gag.
Yeah, it's cool because
It's a
like
good
that's
gag.
what he said. Like you can have whatever you want in here, man. You're such a jackass.
Honestly, I'd be down for an Inception sequel that is in no way smarter than this one.
No,
Doesn't even try to
dumb
be.
as shit.
It's just Arthur and Eames being like a Hobbs and Shaw
that's
adventure.
a great fucking idea.
Like that's all I want. That would be so fun.
That's a great.
Like Arthur being the reliable but not creative one, and then
it's
Eames being
believable
the
that
charismatic one.
It's believable that DiCaprio would never do a sequel to this.
Yeah.
But also that Cobb as a character would never do any more of this. He's just with his children now.
Yeah.
But Eames and Arthur totes would.
Absolutely.
I fucking love that idea.
And now they have a love-hate respect for each other.
Yes. Directed and written by Ryan Johnson this time.
Yes.
You like this?
I love it.
I'm gonna email him. Ryan, my guy, stop playing the banjo for a second. Hear me out.
He does love that banjo.
He does. So then their plan is to emotionally expose the Godfather, Browning, for who he really is and reconcile the relationship with the father.
That's really Tom Berenger.
Exactly, guy. He was in that movie, The Substitute. Steve's
What?
never seen that Chris thought we were going to watch that one time
Yeah.
because he thought Confessions of a Dangerous Mind was in fact Dangerous Minds.
That's a deep cut.
I was lost. And I was talking to you on the phone for like 20 minutes before I realized it wasn't even the movie we were about to watch. So then they want to do like the Mr. Charles gamut. And there's
Oh, fuck Mr. Charles. I don't want to do Mr. Charles.
yeah, and Ariadne's like, who the fuck's Mr. Charles? So Mr. Charles is a move that didn't work last time, by the way. And again, Tom Hardy with the humorous lines. Well, at least you learned something, right? It didn't work last time, but the idea is that you tell the mark that they're in a dream. You snitch on yourself so that they trust you or something. But last time they did it, the subconscious was like, we're in a dream, and killed him. So that's the thing they're going to try. So then we sink down. Now they're in a van because they didn't expect to be chased by this. And remember, they were supposed to be like stable the whole time.
Yeah, Yusuf is driving the van and everyone else is asleep in the van on the second layer of
In
dream.
every level, somebody has to stay awake, quote unquote, to kick them. So now they lose Yusuf. He's stuck on dream level 1.
And he's getting shot out, the poor guy.
He's got the worst job.
Yeah, he does.
Arthur has to fight and stuff, but he's still in like a hotel.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Yusuf is like, fuck! Driving in the rain's not fun anyway.
No,
not
yeah.
much less being shot at.
All of his friends are counting on him.
Sleep in the back.
Yeah. But I do love how whatever's happening in the level above them affects the level below. So like the rain and the movement of the
Because
van.
the
Like,
inner ear and all that stuff.
well, you'll see like chandeliers slightly like tilt to one side.
Or
and
like
it's
Jurassic
really cool.
Park cups, like the water will like
Ripple, yeah. Yep. Very cool.
So then we drift from the van into dream level 2, the hotel. It starts with the Mr. Charles plan and the pretty lady, which the lady is Eames, right? That's flirting with Robert Fisher.
Yeah.
So that's his skill as a forger, is to like shapeshift essentially, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he can pull off looking like someone else.
That's
in
what
the
my
dream.
interpretation of his like skill is.
He's forging an identity.
That's right, baby. Check this out. I'm a chick.
Boom. That's right. I've seen The Matrix.
That's right. I'm a lady in the red dress. 528-491 is the phone number, quote unquote, that she leaves. But also he's like, she stole your wallet. That's not a real phone number. I thought that was a cool touch. It's designed to turn the mark against their own subconscious. And so that's the whole point of the Mr. Charles plan. Cobb reveals himself as Mr. Charles, but he starts to see like a little broken glass. He sees his children, like his nightmare reality is seeping in already. Saito ends up having to ditch that wallet and security's chasing him. This is when we get the, because Arthur's the dreamer on this level. They're looking for me. Give me a kiss.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're still looking at us. Nah, it was worth a shot, which clearly he knew it wouldn't do anything. It was just a trick to kiss her.
Yeah, he just wanted to kiss Ariadne.
Which again, it very like it's giving creep vibes, strong ones, but also she's like kind of smirking, like you're bad.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, JGL.
It's not like he was like, quick, grab my dick, you know. Oh, thought that would work. Like that.
Damn. Maybe if you start stroking it.
Oh, Steve, stop. they get it, you know.
But it's so much fun to say.
Is it? Juggle my balls, you know. Dang, I thought that would work. Usually works when Cobb does
Usually works.
Yusuf's driving all over the place. They're starting to go, whoa. Especially when he gets like a major accident
He
at one
kinda
point.
does that
And the
little-
water just gets thrown against the hotel.
Yeah.
And Cobb's
like a tumble down the
this
hill.
weather's crazy. Well, that's later
Yeah.
when he rolls over. I'm talking
yeah.
about this scene where he's doing something
He's
and
like doing like some water slides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hydroplaning.
water slides. But Fisher takes the bait. He's like, okay, get me the fuck out of here, Mr. Charles.
I trust you with my life.
I know you're going to protect me.
You look so goddamn good in that suit.
And so now he's in the business of robbing himself, helping them break into his own subconscious. It's really neat from here. Like every time you're like, this movie's fucking complicated as shit. Nolan's crazy, but he's making it work. Things get so much more complicated each time you think that. And it's funny to me. But Cobb sees like his kids playing again, but you never see their faces.
Do you like? I saw there was an interview with Nolan did on Entertainment Weekly that was saying like the different roles of the Inception team were like based off film teams.
I didn't see that. No.
So like he was saying, let's see, that Cobb is the director, Arthur the producer, Ariadne is the production designer, Eames is the actor, Sato is the studio, and Fisher is the audience. And Nolan said, in trying to write a team-based creative process, he wrote the one he knew.
I love it. And
Yeah,
I love it.
I think it makes sense.
I meant to say this at the top, but I'm a huge fan of heist movies.
Same.
And this is like a sci-fi
Heist.
dream heist, you know? And like, so it's so far up my alley. It might as well be in my throat.
We even get the "you son of a bitch, I'm in" scene, like getting the team together stuff at the beginning.
I'd like to come out now. I just wanted to throw back to
Or for Brimley the thing.
to the thing
Blair,
for no reason.
I'd like to come out now.
I'd like to be a part of this heist.
You've reviewed several movies since mine, and I'm still in the shed. Could you please let me out now? I'd really appreciate to come back inside.
Could you do a heist breaking me out of the shed?
Please, can you incept to Brody? Is that or what's his name in the movie?
I don't remember.
Can you incept the idea that I'm not the thing, so they'll let me back inside?
I built a spaceship.
MacReady, that's what I'm thinking of.
MacReady. Unrelated. I did build a spaceship. I know that makes me look bad.
When you see it, just pretend you didn't. That'll do me a real solid.
People that didn't listen to our thing coverage.
It's one of my favorite jokes we ever did. Good old Blair.
Anywhoozle. He gives Fisher a gun, immediately regrets it in the bathroom because Fisher's like, audio listeners, I was slowly putting my handgun to my
He's
head.
like, no, don't do that.
But I just think it's funny because Cobb's not paying attention, and in the background, Fisher's just like, oh. And he's like, whoa, what are you doing? He's like, if I do this, if I'm dreaming,
I'm gonna wake up,
if I'm
right?
dreaming like you say, I'll wake up. But he's like scared because obviously you're like, it feels real. You know, I can imagine that would be difficult.
Yeah.
It's really neat. But then Cobb tries to explain, no, you've been sedated so much that you'll go into limbo, which is true. And Fisher's like,
Oh yeah,
okay.
that's a thing.
Okay. He's like, remember your training? They told you about that? And because, you know, he really has been trained for this kind of thing. So he thinks what he thinks is reality, right? He's making Fisher remember dream level 1, which is what he thinks is reality, but which is in fact dream level 1.
Remember those guys I said they were going to hurt Tom Berenger?
Oh, Tom Berenger
Do you
was
want them
there,
to
yeah.
hurt Tom Berenger?
Yeah. And he's
I
like,
love his movies.
wait.
Platoon's so good.
He's like, and I love that he's incepting all these little ideas, not just the big idea that they want to, you know, do an inception of, but he's incepting the idea of Tom Berenger being the villain, Browning being the villain too.
Yeah.
He's like, well, did you see them, you know, torture Tom Berenger? I love how we're just unwilling to say anything other
no,
than
I
Tom Berenger. He's like, oh, so Tom
It's funny
Berenger.
if it's just the whole time he's worried about actor Tom Berenger.
He's like, wait, Tom Berenger's the asshole? And he's like, maybe. I don't know. You're thinking of this, not me. So
I mean, he's made you call him Uncle Peter all these years.
but his name's Tom Berenger.
His
It's
name's
kinda-
Tom Berenger.
It's kind of weird.
Isn't that weird?
So they're going to room 528, which is a touch that I like, and they're setting charges underneath the room, and that's for the kick. Arthur discusses the premise of a synchronized kick through all 3 levels to return to reality. And then they mentioned the idea that like if we don't kick out before the van goes off the bridge, we can't kick dream level 2 because how do we do a drop in no gravity, right? So that sets up the issue for later.
And they use that same song to kind of give the signal that they're gonna.
Je ne regrette, or whatever. It's French.
That's pretty close.
Enza.
Je ne regrette rien is the name of the song.
Yeah, some shit like that. It means I don't have any regrets.
Did you know that song "Slowed Down" is the score for the movie?
No, it's not.
That bomb bomb.
You're a liar.
Bomb. That's the beat of that song slowed down to a certain beats per minute.
Liar.
Okay, all right.
I've never called you a liar on your trivia before.
You fucking liar. Piece of shit.
That's really cool. It's like interstellar level stuff there with the ticks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they do sound like. Did you do it with the cornfield? I'm just kidding. So, there's also a funny scene where Saito sees Tom Berenger and thinks it's Eames, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, dude?"
My dude.
And then he see Eames behind him, like, "Nah, stop." I thought that was really funny.
We don't know Tom Berenger,
but also Tom Berenger's really charming. He's like, "Oh, I thought you were someone else," and he's like, "Probably a handsome guy," and it's just like dad jokes.
I like Uncle Peter.
Yeah,
I get why he's seen as a father figure.
Yeah, so that guy is Fisher's projection of Browning in his mind, right? So then Fisher believes Browning is the culprit and tries to convince Fisher he's entering, and they try to convince Fisher that they're entering Browning's subconscious. Let's do what he was going to do to you, and we go another dream level down and see what's in his mind.
Yeah.
And then Fisher's like, fuck yeah, fuck him. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I had nothing else better to do today.
But it's actually his mind. So then we go to, wait for it, Steve, dream level 3. The snow place. So there's the rainy city, the hotel, and the snow place. That's what I call them.
Nolan wanted to do a James Bond on Her Majesty's Secret Service scene.
Randomly, it's all snowy in there. Yeah.
So he did this.
So it's Arthur alone on Dream Level 2 dealing with the security. That's soon to be flipping all around. Yusuf is alone on Dream Level 1 doing the same thing. He flips the van. There's like a hotel gravity fight. Famous sequence set piece from the movie.
In the van, they go weightless because of the zero gravity of falling, the act of falling, and because the time takes so much longer in the second level in the hotel, they don't have gravity to fight with, so they're just like kind of floating around. It's really cool.
Well, in that set piece in particular, the hotel is just spinning with the van.
Yeah.
And so Arthur is just like running up the walls, really deftly keeping track of where the ground is.
Yeah.
Whereas later, there's a sequence later where he actually are in free fall, and then it's all bets are off. He's just like in space at that point. Arthur's a bad motherfucker, is what I'm here to say.
Yeah,
he is. They say earlier he's very good at what he does. He's just a dick about certain things. This is the scene where it's like
kind of a wet noodle.
Yeah, this is the scene where it's like this is why he's on the team. Shit needs handled. He's going to handle it.
Yeah,
the
most complicated section of the whole plan, you give it to Arthur,
and the score is fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Dun, 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 dun,
By the way, Inception, I think, is the movie that invented the weird, annoying trailer trend of just being like,
the big bass. Yeah.
Right? Inception was the first one, right?
It definitely made it memeable. That's for sure.
I think so. I like too, by the way, when he gets the gun at the end, when the van finally rights itself and the gun just kind of slides in his hand.
Oh, and he shoots the guy that jumps at him.
Yeah. And then the guy just kind of like rolls into the wall. I thought it was like, neat.
Yeah.
I know. I agree with you that Nolan's not super great at action, but that was really cool.
Oh, no. The whole elevator fight, I think, is the best thing he's ever done action wise. It definitely up to that point. It's so iconic, and seeing JGL like run through it. And then it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest, like, honey, come here. Check out this cool action scene. And then your significant other's like, can I go back in the other room, please?
You got a wood. Check this out. I've been watching it 6 times. So then they all split up, right? Saito keeps, they split up on the snow level. And Saito keeps like coughing from the gunshot levels up is starting to affect him on the levels down. Yusuf is about to get to the bridge that they talked about finally. He's like, fuck this. I can't hold them off any longer. I got one little pistol. I'm not a very good shot. So he plays the music, the Jean Noregrian, whatever, the French stuff. And they're running out of time. So there's 10 seconds until the kick on level 1, 3 minutes until the kick on level 2, and an hour until the kick on level 3. Eames has added an air duct system to cut through the maze. I don't know why. Honestly, that scene could have been cut. That cuts through the maze there. And then we get Arthur using the paradox stairway that he showed Ariadne earlier. She apparently did create one. That was kind of neat. I still don't really understand how that works. I'm not like a paradox guy, but I'm down with it.
Yeah.
I like playing with those drawings and paintings and stuff. You know,
Like the MC Escher.
MC Escher shit. Yeah.
I think those are called Penrose stairs.
Yeah, that's what he calls them, I think.
Yeah.
But he throws the guy off one, like, and then he goes, just in case the audience is dumb as fuck, paradox.
Like beats his chest.
He could have just said, remember that scene from an hour ago? And then just left.
Worth a try.
He should have pulled out a comb and like slicked his hair one more time.
Yeah, you like adjust his vest, like
Or his cufflinks, maybe like Bond.
ooh, like a Bond. Yeah.
Then Yusuf drives off. He's all giddy from like, oh, that was dope. After the car wreck thing. The hotel's like fucked at this point after Yusuf drives off the bridge. I mean, everything. There's no gravity at all anymore.
Yeah. He's got to you like just float around. He's trying to tie people up in cables and he makes a sandwich board out of them at one point and like just shoves them through the hallway.
And there's an avalanche in the snow world. And that's where like, oh shit, that was the kick. We missed the kick. And then Cobb's like, well, we just got to hit the next kick for when the van hits the water. That'll be another kick. Kicks are for kids. And then, wait, that's tricks. Fuck. And they mess the whole plan up. And then, so they have to finish everything that they're doing before the van hits the water. And which is about 20 minutes in Dream Level 3, which is the only one that matters. Because Arthur is easily going to tie everybody together, fight another guy, and then rig the elevator with charges in 3 minutes easily.
I mean, that's really easy to do. Honestly, especially if you don't have gravity to help you out with. It's very easy to do.
Yeah.
Totally doable in that time frame.
On Dream Level 3 in the snow, they realize that the security, the subconscious security, is starting to turn away from them. It's because they're going after Fisher and Saito. And so Eames has to distract them. Arthur's doing a no-gravity fight. And the whole army's headed for Fisher and them. Eames is hilarious. Like when he throws that bomb at the army and then gives them the thumbs up when they catch it. It's little shit like that. I appreciate stuff like that. And then Arthur does figure a way to kick them with the elevator. We talked about that.
Eames has to be good at video games, I imagine. The way he's crushing this James Bond role. Yeah.
For sure. He made it through he's like speed running.
I'm here for dubs, guys. Who's here for dubs? Someone's
with Fisher, and it's Mal. We wondered when she was going to show up. And Cobb's got a sniper rifle. And I know that he's like attached to her. This is his whole arc, but it's also extremely frustrating that he's not used to what she does in his dreams and the fact that that's not actually his wife, all that stuff, right? He's like, they're like, shoot her.
Shoot her.
And he's like,
but it's
not really your wife. And then he's like, are you sure?
It's still real to me, damn it.
And then she fucking kills Fisher and then he shoots her eventually. Saito's not looking good. Finally, they're like, we failed. Mission's over. We're all probably going to die, but at the very least, I can't go back to America.
I loved Eames like, oh man, I really wanted to know it wasn't that safe.
He's like, we failed?
Dang. Oh, well.
I'm
not that
At least
involved.
I'm still super handsome and charming.
Yeah.
But no, Ariadne's like, no, we can go to Limbo with him. We have to get Fisher back from there. Like she's got this wild ass idea and we don't have time for that. We will have time down there. This is where her math skills come up again because immediately she's the only one that knows the math of it. I think it's really funny. So then we go to a 4th level unplanned, Steve, which I call Limbo Beach.
Limbo Beach.
And down there,
get your tickets.
The world that Cobb and Mal built before is crumbling, but it's still there. Arthur's upstairs doing the elevator kick. And then Saito's really charming because he's like super necessary in this plan all of a sudden. Like he's like, hold them off from Fisher while I set the charges for the kick. And Saito is like, no room for tourists on these jobs, right? Like throwback. Yeah. And he's like, you fucking, I get what you did there.
I mean, I'm not wrong.
Yeah. And so back to the Limbo Beach, Cobb's like, we built this for years and then we started in on the memories, which is where things start to go awry. You're not supposed to do that, right? Mm-hmm. They have to come up with a limbo kick. They realize that. And then he's telling the story of how he basically is about to reveal his biggest, darkest secret, which is that he incepted Mal. And that's how everything happened.
Yeah, that's how he knows it's doable.
He did an inception. An idea is like a virus, resilient, contagious. It can grow to define or destroy you. And I love this philosophy that ideas are the most powerful, potentially life-saving, potentially cancerous things in human culture.
Yeah.
Which is true, right? Mm-hmm. And then we get this heartbreaking scene between Mal and Cobb. You don't believe in one reality anymore, so just choose to live with me. And I love that idea too, that one can just choose to be delusional. Many people do.
Yep.
Yeah, the comfort of that. He could easily he could be a god in limbo with a piece of his dead wife for the rest of his life if he wanted to. And Saito's wound is seeping through all the layers of consciousness. He's now about to die in layer 3. Mal is trying to convince Cobb. He confesses his guilt, confesses to the audience and Ariadne, the idea that caused you to question reality came from me. Mm-hmm. He planted the idea that maybe reality wasn't real and you should kill yourself to wake up to get her out of limbo.
Mm-hmm. But
she
that
carried that with her back to real reality.
Yep.
Oh, it's very good. Very good writing.
And so that's why she was always kind of, after they woke up from this long stint in limbo, she changed and she was trying to kill herself and she was trying to convince him to do it too. And it just ends tragically where she
jumps off the roof.
She frames him for her suicide. Yeah.
But I also love that they did that. They laid on train tracks to wake themselves up from limbo, which is like so metal. You could have done it in a way gentler way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that whole thing, you're waiting for a train. You don't know where it's going, but it doesn't matter because we're together or whatever. Like that whole thing that's been brought up several times in this movie. That's the origin of it. I love it. So good.
Yeah.
Wow. Saito's like fighting him off. He's throwing grenades and shit, like, which is crazy because he looked terrible like an hour ago. Like, and he
got that adrenaline, man.
It's true.
It's like, I'm going out like a boss. Here we go. Give me grenades.
Yeah. Eames is setting charges.
Are these rescue grenades? Don't give a shit.
Throw a rescue grenade. Saito dies on layer 3. Eames is kind of sad about it. Cobb offers to stay in limbo in exchange for the location of Fisher. And it's funny because she's like, he's right there. It's literally through that door.
Yeah, it's on the porch. You
could have just not talked to me and kept going. You would have found him.
It's a screen porch. You could see him from here, actually.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's kind of cool because you think that like Cobb is finally losing his mind. And it's kind of a tiny, quick subversion because he's like, I'll stay here with you. And if you could tell us where Fisher is and Ariadne, and he's like, you can't stay here with her. And he's like, I'm not. I got to find Saito. I just tell him this crazy bitch that.
Yeah. It's a total lie. Sorry. I'm glad you fell for it, though.
And then he tells her some mean shit. He's like, you're just a shade of my real wife.
A poor imitation.
I did the best I could, but you're just a tiny piece of her. Like, you kind of suck. I'll be honest. Like, she could kind of suck sometimes, and you're only that part of her.
Only that part. When she got a little murdery.
Yeah.
I messed up.
And they just kick Fisher off the roof, send him back to level 3. And then Arthur initiates the kick on 2, which takes a while. It's still timed perfectly, which is an amazing job, Arthur.
Yeah, well.
Because it's not until the elevator hits the wall.
He's very good at what he does.
He is. Fisher enters the vault. He sees his dad there. Maury's in a hospital bed. And that's when he has the idea that he was saying, because earlier we found out he said that his last words to his son were, I was disappointed. But now in Robert's mind, what he's saying is, I was disappointed that you tried to be me.
Yeah.
And not yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the code to the safe is 528-491 and level 3 reality. Oh, chef's kiss.
And what's in that safe, buddy?
A pinwheel. Which we could assume he played with as a child. I don't know.
Well, there's that photo of him and his dad when he was a kid, and he's holding that pinwheel.
Oh, that's where that's from. Fuck, that's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hit the table.
That's okay.
That's so good.
But apparently,
it'd be funny if he pulled it out and was like, "What the fuck is this?
This isn't a will."
I don't understand, and just throws it away.
Dad, wake up! Hey. Wake up. Explain this.
Whose is this?
What is this? Does this mean something to me?
Eames kicks level 3 at that moment. He blows the charges. And then on level 4, Cobb's like, it's the kick, Ariadne. You got to go. And she's like, okay, don't die. And he's like, I won't. And she jumps off the roof. They ride the kicks up through all the layers. What do my notes mean at this point?
They initially wake up in the original rainy level.
Well, first
on the side of the river?
It stays with Cobb and Marion Cotillard, Mal, and it's this really touching moment where she's like, "You promised that our dream was that we grow old together." I'm about to cry now.
It's like, but we did.
We did. You don't remember? And then it cuts to them in limbo, and they lived there for 50 years. They were old, and he's like, "We had our time together. I have to let you go." It gets weird, and it's a little intercut. The emotion of it is undercut a little bit by cutting back to dream level 1, where they're showing Fisher with Browning swim out and like, I need to break up my father's empire. And they're like, all the real characters are like using oxygen in dreamland so they don't die and wake up or something. I guess. I don't. Why
Well,
don't
they're trying to stay under the water so that it doesn't break the illusion of him.
so they can have that moment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they could just drown and all they would do is wake up.
That's true.
Like the oxygen thing's funny to me.
Well, maybe because they have to get the chemicals to naturally wake up. Maybe they're worried that if they drown, they'll go into limbo at this point still, because they still have to get the wake up chemicals from that level.
Maybe. I don't know. But I don't know. It's neat. It's fine. Fisher has the epiphany we need him to have. Ariadne tells Arthur about Cobb. And I love her reaction. He's like, where's he at? Is he down there with Mal? No, he needed to find Saito. And Cobb's like, oh, or Arthur's like, fuck. And Ariadne's just like, he'll be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We saw it in the beginning of the movie. He's fine.
And we come back to the beginning of the movie, which we now know is Cobb is in limbo. So here's what I don't understand. Why doesn't Cobb age? Because I thought we were to understand that Cobb had to look for Saito for decades. But it looks like only Saito's been down there for decades.
Yeah, Saito's only been down there for decades.
I'm confused.
So Saito died, and then what, like 10 minutes passed before they go down into that world or something?
They were already down there when Saito died.
Sure, but
because Cobb's like, at this point, he's probably dead. He'll be down here somewhere.
Right. Yeah. No, he does go down there, but because the amount of time, the time dilation is because he went there first, even if it was like 30 seconds, that 30 seconds would be like 50 or 60 years for him.
It would be like, a long time.
Yeah, it's just compounding all that time. And so by
it's
the
only
time,
been like a decade for Cobb.
Well, I think Cobb just like landed straight in the water, woke up, and he just happened to be where they were, and he just got pulled up in there like right away.
I don't think so, because he was like, I have to look for Saito here. He's already in limbo. So he would have to be traveling to get to an ocean. Like, he'd have to walk out of that building. He's not going to fall anywhere.
But he's going to a different plane, though. I don't think it's the same exact plane of existence.
The limbo is as far as it gets. That's as far down as it goes.
Right, but I don't know. I feel like he's supposed to be in a completely different plane of existence than that scene he's having.
He says the words, Saito would be here by now. I have to go find him.
Or maybe he jumped out of the
limbo, out of the building.
The building, and he's like
just in the sand.
Belly flops.
It's a little goofy because if he died, he would be freed from limbo. Sorry. Anyway,
here, I'm trying to pull up.
I do like your explanation of why Cobb didn't age still, though. I'm sure Nolan thought of that.
Okay, so we got reality. Yeah, okay, limbo. Yeah.
But back in reality, after everything's completed, he pulls Saito back out. The first thing Saito does, to his credit, is pick up the phone and start to call to help. I love that when Fisher wakes up, he just looks super chill and fine. They're like, do you want your immigration papers, sir? And he's like, sure. They've been asleep for 10 hours. Fisher has, for sure. Mm-hmm. What if he woke up and realized he shit himself?
Like, oh no. Oh God.
Oh.
Hey, they're in first class. They saw that. They took care of it.
Okay.
They're professionals there.
I was just wondering. I saw that he still had the suspenders and they've been asleep for a long time.
Yeah.
He definitely peed his pants, at least. Probably shit him.
Hey,
airline
your
food?
pants is cool.
And I'm Miles Davis.
So I brought up an Inception visual storytelling, and they have limbo listed as its own thing. Where you're right,
yeah,
it's like in one place, and then there's another one that does say they're in a different place. It's strange. I don't know what. Yeah,
I'm 100% sure, based on the rules of the movie, that it's 1, 2, 3 limbo, and everyone who died throughout the course of this movie would go into limbo. Everyone who's real, the rest are just projections. Because he literally looks Ariadne in the eye and he's like, Saito would be dead by now. He's here somewhere. I'll have to find him. And that's the line. Mm-hmm. And I guess he was there long enough to build. So he built a security team for himself and this, you know what I mean? That Cobb found that area, this little Saito hangout.
This place is my jam.
I would have liked to have seen more dream power though in Limbo. Instead of it's cool for the opening because it's confusing. He just washes up on a beach. There's security. That's all interesting. But it makes more sense if he showed up in a spaceship and like had like an Iron Man suit. That would make more
He's
sense.
like scanning for Saito.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because this is what I got dream powers. Like,
Yeah.
why are you dreaming yourself to be some schmuck who's wanting some oatmeal from an old man?
Well, he's an architect. He only likes to, deal with what he deals with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, why is he eating that like prison soup and shit, all hungry and cold? I don't know. It just seems weird to me. But they're back in reality. Welcome home, Mr. Cobb. And I love he doesn't even know if it's worked yet until he hands him the passport. And he's like, oh, fuck. I'm either going to go.
That leap of faith.
Yeah. So anyway, I know this is a long episode and everybody's been waiting for this part. He finally sees the faces of his children when he gets home. He spins the top, then sees his children, goes and picks them up. So Steve, I have to ask you a question.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about the top spinning? Do you think it falls? Do you think he's in reality? Do you think he's in another dream?
So I think he's in reality, but I love the ambiguous nature of that they don't show the top fall. Like it does a couple of little teeters, but then corrects itself, and then it just cuts on that high note.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's so good. And it's the type of ending where you immediately want to be like, did it fall, guys? Did it fall? Is this reality? Because that's the big thing about this movie is, reality is important. What you perceive as your reality is very important. But you get to the end here, he's finally gotten his goal. Cobb can finally see the face of his kids, this image he's been trying to get this whole few years or months or however long he's supposed to be away. And he, at that moment, kind of decides, being with my kids is my reality. I don't need this top to tell me that. Like, this has to be it. And I do like that because reality is kind of what we make it in a weird way.
Home is where you make it.
Oh, yeah. Home is where the heart is. Home is where ET is.
You like to see him naked. I don't care.
Yeah. But I choose to believe that it's real. He's with his kids. Happy ending. Huzzah. What about you?
I agree. I've always believed, because it's too exhausting for me to imagine that he's still stuck in a dream somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's always been the case for me that he made it. He's home with his children, right? But I would like to share with you a few quotes from Mr. Nolan that I think are fascinating, because he's talked
Christopher
Nolan. He's talked about how this is the question he gets asked by more people than any other movie he's ever made is, does the top spin or fall at the end of Inception? It drives people crazy. And he thinks that that's so fascinating. So I'm going to take you on a journey.
Okay. I like journeys.
This article was written in 2023. It was sold as question finally answered.
Oh, God.
Because he did speak on it this year. And it's a quote from Mr. Nolan. He says, I think it was Emma who sort of pointed out the correct answer, really. So he gives all credit to his wife. He said, the point of the shot is that DiCaprio's character doesn't care at that point.
Yeah.
Right? But he's lying, because he actually said in 2015 to the graduating Princeton University class the same thing, but he tried to give credit to his wife, which I respect. Mm-hmm. Cobb doesn't really care anymore, and that makes a statement. Perhaps all levels of reality are valid. The point is, objectively, it matters to the audience in absolute terms, even though when I'm watching it's fiction, a sort of virtual reality. But the question of whether that's a dream or whether it's real is the question I've been asked most about any of the films I've made. It matters to people because that's the point about reality. Reality matters. So he said the same thing, is that the point of the emotional truth of that scene is that Cobb doesn't care. But he also said that in 2010, Steve, in an interview with Wired.
Okay.
So it just frustrates me that he was like, here's what I finally have to say about the matter, guys. It's what he's been saying the entire time. In 2010, he said, the most important emotional thing about the top spinning at the end is that Cobb is not looking at it. He doesn't care. And that's the truth. And I never really put all that, because I am a kind of person too who's like, so what is it? But like,
was it all a dream?
Nolan's like, I'm surprised that everybody cares that much. I'm a little taken aback, because the whole point, the reason I put that in there is that he can see the faces of his children now, and he's not interested. He's like, he definitely doesn't want to leave this reality no matter what happens. Yep. God, that's touching. And so that's when I had the epiphany that this is not just a typical Nolan high concept plot over everything movie. It's actually got an extreme amount of heart in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
That actor's like his own kid.
I think this is his most emotional movie.
Maybe Interstellar.
Oh, yeah, Interstellar. Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
It is
that one's
Interstellar.
like literally Matthew McConaughey crying the whole time.
Yeah. You're right. That one is definitely, yeah. But this is the first one I think where it was really kind of, okay, yeah, he can do more like this. This is great. He's killing it.
Yeah, and live in a way where you don't have any regrets.
Mm-hmm.
Jean ne regrette rien, or whatever. Jean ne regrette rien. It's je ne regrette rien. Je ne regrette rien. Ah, French people.
Sorry.
Oh, baguette. But that's it.
Should we like wake ourselves up and
We
what's
need to-
the kick?
We need to see what's the kick?
The kick was
Oh,
Pippin.
My dogs.
Yeah.
Just play my dogs. That'll wake us up.
Hold on. Hopefully Pippin will start licking us. It's the kick. We're waking up, Chris.
Here I come.
Here I come.
I'm going to lick you. I love you. It's hard to do Pippin the dog with that song.
Oh,
Damn, y'all talked a long time.
well, we had a lot of thoughts, Madison.
The plot is deep.
A lot of layers.
Wow.
And we massage it, make
I'm
sure
so
it's all
glad
in
we
there.
learned how to do that so you could be here for that.
Yeah, Madison, what did you think about that review that we incepted into your brain just now, all scientific like?
Well, we
Pretty
did-
damn good.
She has to think it's her own idea.
Oh,
or
shit.
It doesn't stick.
What was your
I
dream about?
loved it. I thought it was great.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I hope you all enjoyed that as much as Madison's brain did.
That's not what I was going to hope.
What were you going to hope?
For peace on earth.
Okay. You trying to win Miss America?
Yeah.
Or is this a dream?
Well,
We
use your
actually-
totem. Check your totem.
Check
Oh
your
yeah,
totem.
yeah. Oh
I think this is the amount
wait,
of
my
cherry cola.
ET doll is not here.
Oh no. Did it phone home while we were asleep?
No,
You're supposed to pick something you actually have.
I'm stuck in limbo now.
I'm pretty sure that was the amount of cola I had. I'm not in a dream.
Yeah.
Or does it even matter?
Why is this top spinning?
Continuously.
I'm a top.
Not even it.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think Brittany thinks you're a bottom.
I saw this marquee. You know how the marquees at movie theaters show like all the movies they're playing right now?
Yeah.
And sometimes the movie titles are funny mixed
Yeah.
together. One said, Oppenheimer bottoms the Nun 2. And the top comment was, he did it twice.
And I'd like to say, I wish I was the nun.
Okay, damn. That's a pegging Cillian Murphy reference, everybody at home. Pegging Cillian Murphy. That's a
Gaze
weird...
upon my works in despair.
Anyway,
right.
loved your guys' review in my brain. I thought it was amazing.
Good.
Thank you for that.
Good. I hope you all enjoyed that as well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our wonderful patrons at patreon.com/streamingthings. Email the show at streamingthingspod@gmail.com. Go to streamingthingspod.com to find all and sundry works of Streaming Things. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Grindr, all those places. Until next time, that's all the time we have for right now. My name is Kit.
My name's Madison.
And I'm Steve.
And this was Streaming Things Inception style.
I'll make a little noise to signal everyone waking up, right? Okay. Ready? Sorry, okay.
I was thinking,
Yeah,
I'm not on the table.
Not a, I'll make a little noise.